You're listening to I Love This TV Show, The Golden Girls.
The Golden Girls, Season 3, Episode 4, The Housekeeper. Original air date, October 17th, 1987. In this episode, Sophia is heading to Phil's. His daughter is getting married. Blanche and the girls interview prospective housekeepers. Blanche laments that everyone they have interviewed has been horrible. The doorbell rings and it's a woman applying for the housekeeper job. Her name is Marguerite Brown. She has a big personality. They get interrupted by a phone call. Norman is canceling a date with Blanche. Margaret helps by giving Blanche a bottle of what appears to be perfume. Marguerite leaves and the ladies discuss what she gave Blanche. Rose thinks it's a love potion. Then she tells the ladies a St. Olaf story about how her grandparents meet. Dorothy goes on to say if it does work, she'd sell her own mother for some. It's another day, and Dorothy comes out on the lanai with a painted rock she found underneath her bed. Marguerite overhears and explains that it's a charm she put under Dorothy's bed to help her get a better night's sleep. Everyone then discusses the bags under Dorothy's eyes, and she gets upset. Marguerite apologizes. Rose points out that she has been sleeping better and even commenting to them about it. Dorothy points out that she's not doing the best job after just a week of being the housekeeper. Blanche defends her with how much attention Norman is giving her. Rose points out that good things are happening too. Blanche finds the People magazine Dorothy mentions and hands it to her. Dorothy then hits Rose over the head with it. The next day, Rose is cleaning the kitchen instead of Marguerite. Rose tells Dorothy why Marguerite is late. Dorothy is not amused. They all decide that they need to talk to her again. Rose tells another St. Olaf story about a teacher named Mrs. Gunderson. Her point? She was a really sweet lady, but she just couldn't do the job anymore. They decide to fire Marguerite. Blanche is worried it will mess up her relationship with Norman. Blanche tells Dorothy to fire Marguerite. Dorothy is shocked, but Blanche explains she is the meanest. Rose defends Dorothy. She tells them since they hired her together, they should fire her together. Marguerite arrives, and then Rose hugs her. She informs them she was late because she's making something for Blanche. The three go to the living room to fire her. Dorothy lowers the boom. Rose backs her up. Marguerite is upset. She tells them they are making a big mistake. Moments after she leaves, the kitchen makes a sound as if it is blowing up. The sink has blown up and is now spouting enough water to look like a geyser. Another day, and Dorothy is barbecuing on the lanai. Rose comes out and tells Dorothy how about a day she had. Dorothy tells her to sit. She'll give her some lemonade. But when Rose sits, she falls through the chaise lounge. Dorothy helps her up and gives her the lemonade. Then Rose gets hit by a softball. Blanche joins them and announces Norman has dumped her. Blanche tells them Marguerite has put a curse on them. Rose then lists all the problems they've had since they fired her. Rose and Blanche want to hire Marguerite back. Dorothy informs them there is no such thing as a curse, but during her speech, a guy dressed as a bird lands in the backyard via parachute. The ladies invite Marguerite back. They get roses and champagne. Rose and Blanche treat her like royalty. Marguerite wants to explain, though. She is shocked by the champagne and roses. They even give her a gift. It's a tiara. Rose bought it. She tells a third St. Olaf story about wanting a tiara, but getting freshly carved shoes every year instead. Sophia comes home during this spectacle. She is a bit surprised. Dorothy introduces Sophia to Marguerite. Sophia wants to know what they are celebrating. When she tells Sophia she is the housekeeper, Sophia is a little surprised. Dorothy drags her into the kitchen. In the kitchen, Dorothy tells her to be extra nice to Marguerite, but not to make her do anything. Dorothy tells her that Marguerite put a curse on them. Sophia is not amused. She is shocked at how afraid Dorothy is of her. She agrees to play along. The two go back in the living room, and Sophia immediately asks Marguerite about the curse she put on the girls. Dorothy and the girls freak out. Marguerite plays dumb, then realizes something is weird. Blanche asks about the potion, but it's only Chanel number 5. Dorothy asks about the painted rock. It turns out it's Sophia's painted rock. It was the first wage she was ever paid. Marguerite admits she lied. She's going to school to be a lawyer, and she studies in the morning. Everyone apologizes. Sophia finally gets asked about the wedding. It was beautiful. Favorite quotes. Blanche. I wonder what it is she gave me. Rose. I bet it's a love potion. Blanche. I don't care what it is. I'll do anything to get Norman's attention. Dorothy. If you get Norman's attention, it won't be because of what's in that bottle. But if it does, I'll sell my mother for an ounce. Rose. Geez, that's the most colorful dust ball I've ever seen. Dorothy. I think Marguerite's been inhaling a little too much pine sol. Blanche. I think she is doing a very good job. Ever since she gave me that potion, Norman has been on me like white on rice. Rose. She has a really good excuse for being late. She had to go pluck a hair from the chin of a dwarf. Blanche. She melted my buttons with the iron. Now I'll never be able to open my blouse again. Dorothy. A dark day in the history of mankind. Dorothy. Why should I be the one to fire her? Blanche. You're the meanest. Rose. Blanche, that's not true. Dorothy just looks the meanest. Dorothy. She meant she's unhappy that she lost her job, or that she's going to blow up our kitchen. Blanche. You made us fire Marguerite, and now she's put a curse on us. Sophia. You always wear a tiara to clean the toilet? Sophia. So what's all this crap about you putting a curse on my daughter? Dorothy. We are all going to be turned into kumquats. Sophia. Well, that's that. Anything else you need me to straighten out for you? This is a really, really funny episode. It's really just a miscommunication after a miscommunication after a miscommunication. The girls are home alone. Sophia has gone off to her granddaughter's wedding. Phil is her son, and it is his daughter getting married. And while she is gone, they decide they are going to hire a housekeeper. I guess it's the only episode I think where they ever do that. Otherwise, they do the cleaning themselves. Sophia does the cleaning. And they interview just all of these crazy candidates. And they finally settle on Marguerite. And they think that she's magic because all these good things start happening. You know, she gives this potion to Blanche. Blanche thinks it's, well, I don't know really what Blanche ever thinks it is. And Rose thinks it's a love potion, and Dorothy just doesn't seem to care much about what it is unless it actually works to get men. But it turns out it's just Chanel number 5. Just a perfume. And Dorothy is not happy with how the cleaning is going, and she's just very much not happy. But this character, Marguerite, is just hilarious. She's just a joy to watch. You know, I love some of the things that she says, the way she says them. She's just very emotive when she speaks, and that's not something that you always get a lot on this show or from characters in general. And it's quite funny to see just how the interaction is, how they start out at the beginning of the episode just completely loving Marguerite and thinking she's fabulous. Then, after a week of all these amazing things happen, Dorothy decides she has to be fired because she's just not cleaning as well as she should be. But Dorothy's sleeping better, and Rose has had good things happen, and Blanche has got Norman on her like white on rice. And I think this is where I actually started saying white on rice, because I say that phrase a lot as well. And once Marguerite leaves because Dorothy insists that she be fired for a bad job, suddenly all these bad things happen. Truthfully, they're just all coincidence, and they're just all happening at a faster rate than normal. But they'd associated so many good things with Marguerite coming. When they had a bunch of bad things, they associated that with Marguerite leaving. And I adore the fact that they think that she's cursed them. That is just beyond hilarious. Because I'm not really sure curses even exist, but Marguerite was actually just trying to become a lawyer, and she's a very good liar, which she admits. And I think that the girls just went a little overboard. They were so happy with all of the things that happened when Marguerite was there that when normal things happened that were not good, they attributed that to the loss of Marguerite and her putting a curse on them because they didn't want to just accept that bad things do happen too, just as much as good things. And, we're trained to see patterns. That's how our brains work. So they recognized, ooh, Marguerite's here. Look at all these wonderful things. It's a good pattern. Oh my goodness, Marguerite is gone. All these bad things are happening. It's a pattern. But it's just the way our mind interprets and groups things. Marguerite didn't have anything to do with all the good things, and she didn't have anything to do with all the bad things. Now, had Sophia been there and not away at Phil's, she would have most likely sorted it out quite quickly. But it took her returning, and the girls, of course, being scared to death of her. I mean, literally so afraid that Dorothy is practically in tears, begging her mother not to bug Marguerite for anything, just to tell her or tell one of the girls. And so she wants to get to the bottom of it. She, like a good mother, doesn't want to see her daughter upset. And so she calls Marguerite out. Did you put a curse on my daughter? And then Marguerite looks confused, doesn't understand what's going on. And it takes a little bit of time for her to click and figure out where they're coming from here. The potion, as Rose dubbed it, that she gave Blanche. They ask about that. But no, it turns out it's actually just Chanel number 5, a perfume. So Norman going out with her and dumping her had nothing to do with Marguerite. And with the painted rock, it wasn't anything that Marguerite did. And she really probably didn't even know. It was under the bed until Dorothy pointed it on the lanai, because it was Sophia's. And now I'm not sure how it got from Sophia's room to Dorothy's room, but that's just a mystery. And yeah. But what's interesting is this episode has 3, not just 1, not 2, but 3 St. Olaf stories from Rose. And no, I will not recount any of them. I love the St. Olaf stories, but I know many people do not. They react the way Blanche and Dorothy react and be like, oh dear God, no, not another not another St. Olaf story. And Sophia has all of her pictured Sicily stories too, but we didn't get one of those in this episode because she was barely in it. It would have been very interesting to see how Sophia would have interacted with Marguerite during the entire week that she was the housekeeper there. But I do love that line about, do you wear a tiara when you clean the toilets? Still makes me laugh, no matter how many times I watch it. Thanks for tuning in to the I Love This TV Show podcast. If you would like to make a donation in support of this podcast, you can through Cash App to Pasta26MC. That's pasta like the food, the number 2, the number 6, M as in monkey, C as in cat. If you would like to sponsor this podcast or advertise on it, please send an email to podcast@pastasworld.com. As always, you can go to pastasworld.com for more information.